Hi everyone, my name is Alan Ward, and earlier this week I was watching Alec Bourne's video regarding the Wall of Sound Rig Rundown video competition, and it's motivated me to sit down today and produce this video talking about the different sounds that I use. Now, Alec specifically was talking about the anniversary of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album and Dave Gilmour and the sort of ambient sounds that he uses. So today I want to delve a little bit into that area. First, a little bit of disclaimer, I don't have a Helix, so a little awkward posting this on the Helix page, but nevertheless, Alex said whatever you use, post it and show us what sounds you've got. I am, however, a Line 6 fan and have been using Line 6 gear probably for over 15 years. So I've had the X3, the XTL, I'm not sure what order those two came in. I've currently got a Pod HD500X, I've got the DT25 amp, speaker box, I have a Line 6 4x12 spider cab, and this Variax that I've had for years. So yes, I'm well and truly entrenched in the Line 6 world, so just haven't got a Helix. Now the last few years I have been doing a lot more of my playing essentially in the box. When I go out and play, I take the Pod with me and the Variax, that's all I really need. One on each arm, rock up to the gig, plug in, and it's all there. But when I'm home, I've been using Ableton Live and some amp sims. Specifically, I've been using Bias FX2 and TH-U from Overloud. And in this video, I want to show you how I use those amp sims within Ableton Live, how I'm using MIDI control, and also some of the plugins within Ableton Live to craft my ambient sounds. Now, this is my view in Ableton Live. So first of all, there's a guitar MIDI channel. Now what happens is that I have a Behringer FCB1010 MIDI controller down here, and it controls some of the parameters in Bias FX. So that channel is set up. You need a channel set up in Ableton Live to receive the MIDI signals and then send it on to what is now in here as Guitar 1. That Guitar 1 channel has what you can see down here at the bottom, has Bias FX and Tau. More on that in a minute as well. Next up, there's my swell guitar. So basically what I'm going to record is a swell guitar pad, and so the swell guitar channel is receiving the output from the Guitar 1 channel, so from the Bias FX channel. I do it this way so I can record something on swell guitar, then I can quickly go to high guitar, and it's all fed from the same input source, which makes things really easy. This is just the basic. That's my clean sound. What I'm using on here is a 335 model for the Variax, and it's just going into Bias FX, a little bit of delay, and a Fender amp. I want to show you this plugin, Tau Reverb. This is a free plugin. So my clean sound again, pretty straightforward, Tau Reverb. Isn't that great? Now I've also got my Novation Launchkey set up here, and I have one of these faders set up to control that wet signal. So let me play something. So that again is one of the advantages of moving into the MIDI world and some of the things you can do now. That's just a manual automation. I could have a foot switch down here and control it with my foot, or I could set that up within the automation within Ableton Live as well. So there's so much that you can do. Just want to show you in Bias FX2. So this is my patch, but I want to show you here the delay that I've got. And this is a rip-off of the Binson Echorec, and I'm using this because Dave Gilmour was a big Echorec user, so it seems kind of fitting, but there's some really interesting tones you can get out of this. So that's with the Tau Reverb as well, but this patch. What I've done with my Behringer foot controller is I've set it up to control this swell knob on the Echorec. Let me show you what it does. And that pretty much just sustains for days. What I'm going to do now is take that sound and record a loop of it. Okay, so I've just recorded the loop, and that's what you can hear now playing. Now next up, I'm going to record a higher swell. So I've got my foot backed off so there's no real swell happening. That's just kind of the reverb sound. Now So there you have it. Now I have basically these two pads going. That's the first one. And that's the second one, a slightly higher one. So straight away I've got some really cool effects happening with that swell on the Echorec, which I think is just a fantastic sound. Now I have already dropped in a drum loop and recorded a bass part in this Ableton session. So I'm going to play that now because what I want to do is record another guitar part as well. Just an ambient but carrying a bit more of a melody with it as well. Alright, so I'm really happy with what I've just recorded. So I've got like a low sort of droning pad sound, ambient guitar, a high version of that, and the melody. But there's one thing missing. Ebow. Now, anytime I do an ambient track, I will always use, or almost as much as I can use, an Ebow because I love the sound of an Ebow. And I'll swap guitars. This is a Greco Les Paul that I use, mainly because the Variac 600 doesn't take an Ebow very well. I think because of the lack of pickups really affects it. But this guitar, certainly it hums along. So I'm going to record an Ebow track, and I'm using the TH-U amp plugin as well for something different. I alternate between Bias FX and TH-U. They both have different strengths and weaknesses. For this particular sound, I'm using one from TH-U. Now, one more thing with that Ebow sound is there's this really cool plugin in Ableton, and it's Trancegate. Just go search for that. It's a standard Ableton plugin. So Ebow track. There's your Ebow without Trancegate, with Trancegate. Love it. Now the last thing I want to do while I've got the Les Paul is just record a clean guitar sound with some chords to fill it out. So one more thing I want to show you in terms of how I'm layering sounds and what I love to do. I have a Fishman triple play on my guitar. This essentially converts the audio into a MIDI signal, which Ableton Live then picks up, and I'm feeding that to a patch I call Space Pad. It's a few pad sounds from Ableton Live, again just the stock pads. So Space Pad by itself sounds like this. And what I like to do is to add in guitar with it as well. Let me show you what I mean. So I've got a guitar sound. and I've got a pad sitting underneath it as well. The problem with triple play, it's okay here, it doesn't always pick the note as well as it could. Now that's probably user error, less so triple play's issue, but sometimes when I'm playing live with it, it can trigger some wrong notes. I just got to be really, really careful what I play. But what I'd like to do here is just play a pad sound and just record like a little 1-bar loop of that to give it a bit more. So I'm gonna have the guitar, but I'll use just a triple play sound. So there it is. Hopefully you have a better understanding of the way I'm using sounds, but I really love this whole in the box thing. I love the variety of sounds that I can get. I love the fact that I can use amp sims and synths together using the MIDI on here. I love the versatility that the Variax gives me, and I love the ability to map effect parameters to sliders and things like that. It's really opening up a whole new world of sounds and stuff for me. I've never been a shredder, I've never been a quick player, but I've really enjoyed the last few years learning more about ambient sounds and really, I guess, producing a whole bunch of new sounds, new to me at least, through guitar. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I want to give a big thanks to Alec for kind of putting the competition on, but also inspiring me to do this, because it's been a really, really good thing for me to sit down and work through some of these sounds and just focus for a while and think through and clarify what it is that I do. So thank you so much. I'll play along as we go out, and I'll play along with that swell thing as well, because I'm loving the swell. Thanks so much for watching. Leave your comments below.